The Eastsider. That was a song called The Eastsider.
Yeah.
Give me fries and a slider.
Yeah.
What?
And if we hear it out there in the world,
we want some points.
Yeah, we're coming after you.
Sweet, sweet cash. We're going to spend it on guitars.
Fries.
And fries.
Shakes.
You know what? Pete Anderson is a guitar-playing fiend, cool cat. And unbeknownst to me, up until this very day, I did not know he was a Detroit boy.
Detroit boy.
Well, remember him playing all those cool Dwight Yoakam records, great telly parts, great songs. Yes. I always was a fan. And then his blues records came out. I dug those. Got to know him a little bit through the intergoogle, but sent some emails back and forth. Him saying, hey, give me my licks back. Me saying, what licks? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then lo and behold, I played one of these guitars. I was like, you know, not only is he the warrior of the night and a savage internetist, but he is a guitar designing warrior in conjunction with you clergy members at Reverend.
This is all true. It's all true.
Caffeine's a wonderful drug, isn't it?
It is. These are the Eastsiders. That is the Eastsider T. This is the Eastsider S. And you can draw your own conclusions as to the moniker.
Let's tell him.
Pete Anderson was actually, I spoke in an early video about how Reverend was developed in a garage in the east side of Detroit, between about 9.5 miles and Gratiot or so.
Okay.
Right on Gratiot Avenue. And where this garage was, Pete Anderson's childhood home was about 2 blocks away.
That's crazy symbiosis
and it was one of those weird things where it was one of the things that drew Pete to us to begin with. Hey, Detroit guys, they'll get it. They'll get it because they're from Detroit. Yeah. And Joe got it. He got it, right?
Indeed.
So after the success of the Hollow Body, and the success,
right?
I mean, it putting us on a lot of people's radar where they'd never even heard of Reverend before, and all of a sudden we're working with Pete Anderson and we have this kick-ass Hollow Body, right? Mm-hmm. Pete wanted to do a solid body with us as well. And the more we worked on it and the more we thought about Pete's legacy, the more the guitar took on this sort of funky shape, as it were.
It's an unusual shape. I've never seen this shape before.
Right. But Pete was so closely associated with
said instrument,
that shape, that it's really what he wanted to see. And so after some cajoling and begging for me to get Joe to make a guitar in this shape, because see, Joe designs guitars, man, and Joe's got some cool looking stuff.
Right.
And it really wacky. You know, look at what we're doing for Rick Vito and, Billy Corgan.
Yes.
And I'm just going to casually say, look at some of these models. Joe was like, man, I got designs. I don't know if I'm really crazy about doing this. And then but Joe, it's Pete. Right, and it's Pete's thing, and I want to do it with him, and I want to let's go for it. So once we decided that we were going to do this, then Mr. Naylor's attitude became, well, then we're going to make the best damn T-style guitar that anybody can buy. That's going to be so just like Joe did with the hollow bodies, and just like he's done with so many of Reverend's other models. There's a few things about those that I think can be better.
Mm-hmm, sure.
So I'm going to apply that to my vision of this guitar, and hopefully Pete's down with it too. And so Joe came up with all these little quirks and all these little things, and Pete got on board. Main thing, as with all Reverend guitars, Korina body. You just can't beat the Korina wood with a stick made out of Korina.
I like it.
I don't.
That's all right. You know what? You
I
win some and you lose some.
And I would be like, I hope they cut that. But I know they're not gonna.
Well, you know what? They got to give you a wide. There's so much good that every now and again, if there's one that's like, you get the benefit of the doubt.
A clunker.
That wasn't a clunker, though. It was just not as strong as some of your other material.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw that out there.
While we were on break enjoying some of Colorado's finest
Coffee.
Greg asked me about Korina. Why?
Yes.
Why Korina? I'm going to take this opportunity to answer that question.
Because I think, most people think Korina, they think of those old, I'm going to say that company that begins with a G, those highly coveted models from...
Yeah, the V's and the Explorers.
Exactly.
They're sweet.
They're worth a gajillion dollars. So everyone thinks Korina must be laced with solid gold.
And I'm somewhat of a, electric guitar aficionado, kind of have a collector problem. And I kind of have a nerd problem where I sit and read a million books on the subject of all of this stuff over and over again to the sheer annoyance of my family. But, Korina comes from a tree called the limba tree, okay? And it's a southern hemisphere thing. It grows in Africa, it grows in South America. It's used a lot in furniture manufacturing and has been for many years. It's durable and it's lightweight and it's very consistent weight-wise. Sometimes when you're working with mahogany, sometimes you get really heavy mahogany, sometimes you get light mahogany. You have to dig through it and get the good stuff and all of that. Korina has a lot of the same tonal properties as mahogany does. It has that sort of lower mid-range growl, but it still has some of the snap of an alderwood, and I think in the tree family, it's more closely related to alder than it is to mahogany. But I think. I know about guitars, I don't know about trees, right?
Rest assured, there's a guy in his underwear right now in his mom's basement on the computer going,
that's not true! And if I just talked a bunch of shit, you look in the comments section below and it'll all be straightened out.
Oh, yes. By jamoke342@gmail.com.
At any rate, and I'm also not 100% sure about this, but guaranteed there's a guy who knows. My understanding is Gibson wanted to use something unique for those models.
Right.
And, it got the limba, the Korina from the furniture supplier in Kalamazoo to have something that made those guitars further stand out, like they needed to stand out even more, right? Because at the time it was like...
space-aged.
Great stuff. So good. So at any rate, Korina... since then has been used in a lot of sort of limited runs and reissues from a lot of different companies and special runs for different companies. And as we started looking to it, when it became available to us and we started looking into it a little bit, we discovered that it's a crazy renewable wood resource, that it grows in South America like sumac grows in North America. You turn your back on a grove and you come back 6 months later and you have a forest, which is cool.
Good.
Right? It gets these funky little black spots in it. And, if you look at some of our natural guitars, sometimes you see in the grain, you see these little black spots of what would be some sort of mold that occurs in the forest or something. It's not
Tone mold.
Tone mold. Oh, trademark. And I think you could sand away at a piece of wood and try to have it look absolutely perfect till you're blue in the face. And I think there's people out there that do that. And they can do that and have a $5,000-$6,000 guitar that's really cool. I totally respect it. I get it. You know what I mean? I don't care if there's little marks in the grain. To me, wood is wood. And I want to have this great sounding instrument made out of this really cool tone wood. And if the natural guitars, you can see the little flaws in the grain, so be it.
Right.
It's wood. It's supposed to be that way. So not only do we use Korina for the bodywood on this stuff, but we also put a thin finish on everything that we do.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Wildwood guitars thin skins.
Right.
That's a completely different kind of process. We're still using a poly process, right? But we skimp on the sealer and we go easy on the top coats because there's nothing worse than getting some cool guitar and it's got 3/4 of an inch of clear that's buffed down to 1/2 inch clear on it. And while you can do that and get a perfection looking sheet of glass, again, I would rather have it even on a finish like this that you can't see any wood grain through. If you look at it in the light, you can see wood stuff happening.
Yeah.
to me, it just allows the guitar to, even with the polyfinish, it allows the guitar to breathe and to resonate more, right? So we're looking for tone and utility and moxie and rock, right?
Indeed.
And so some of these, and we're achieving that, I think, with the Korina and the way we're doing the finishing process and things of that nature. All of that is incorporated into this Eastsider T guitar. Joe's other big contribution to this is it's actually chambered around the neck joint. Small solid body guitars can look really cool, I think, with F-holes and things of that nature, but you are making a different instrument when you do that.
Right.
The more wood that you remove around the bridge area, you're sacrificing initial attack and you're sacrificing sustain, right? So by chambering this guitar, under the pickguard around the neck joint, you get this resonant beast of a guitar, but you still have the...
Yeah.
Right? You're not giving up any of that punch.
Right.
And that's important. If you're Pete Anderson, right? You want to be able, you want to be able
You want to have the slap and the tickle.
Yeah, right. And you want to be able to go to the neck pickup on a guitar like this and back the tone control off and have your bluesy
Right.
and then solo time?
Yeah.
What? And there's that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Junction.
So Reverend also does custom pickups for this instrument. They're specific to this model, sort of a Alnico magnet, big gauge wire. Joe has always been a lot of times when people do higher output pickups, they use a lot of windings to increase that output.
Right.
And Joe, in all of the pickups, in all of the Reverend guitars, one of his ideas is use a stronger magnet and less windings. You get a higher output pickup that's quieter because it's the windings that are picking up all the interference and all the stuff that you're hearing. That's a trade secret.
We'll have to edit that part out.
But it's cool. I mean, it's a cool concept. And on a guitar like this, going with the bigger wire, that's the traditional wind for this guitar, when these guitars started to come around in the 40s and the 50s and things.
Right.
So on the T version, which is the 2 pickup version of the Eastsider, there's a push-pull on the tone control which takes the pickups out of phase. So put that in the middle. There it is.
And then bada bing. It's very usable. It's cool. Love it.
Popular 2 pickup guitar mod.
Yeah, absolutely.
Done at the factory. Pete loves that sound. And get some, and that's a killer sound with overdrive.
Oh, absolutely.
Gabrels.
It resigns us
happy
a
to
little...
bring up Reeves Gabrels.
Yep.
That. We do that on a couple of Reeves's models as well.
Yep.
It's just really cool. You put a ton of gain on that, and you're instantly into Queen territory.
Exactly.
And you're not sacrificing. The phase thing is weird too, because a popular complaint when you sell somebody a guitar with a phase switch like that is, it's so much quieter in the out of phase setting.
Right.
Well, yeah, because when you say something is out of phase, the phase thing is frequencies being canceled out. So there's certain frequencies from each pickup that are going away. So you're, again, just like the bass contour, you're removing frequencies out of the spectrum. So yeah, there is some volume drop to be expected. For some reason, with overdrive, you just don't even hear that.
Yeah.
Whereas clean, it definitely pops out at you.
Yeah.
On the 3 pickup Wilkinson trem version of this push pull actually adds the neck to any position that you're in. So if you're in the bridge and you pull that out, you get the traditional split.
Yep.
Yeah. And then in position 2, all 3 pickups are on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool mushy thing all on its own, you know what I mean? And look, I'm playing and I'm looking to him for approval. Greg, do you like me?
I like you.
Am I good enough to be sitting here with you? In the other positions, that doesn't do anything because the neck pickup is already on. Thank you.
Beautiful.
This Wilkinson trem, great unit. You know, we use it on as a trem on a lot of the Reverend guitars. And again, it's flutter-worthy.
Yeah.
It floats, so you've got to adjust your bends and stuff, you know? But what you're getting out of it is a really usable unit that stays in tune. Excellent. I always say they're kind of a pain in the butt to set up, but once you set them up,
they're good to go.
They're good to go, man. You're done. You know, and you can look at a guitar like this, and you wouldn't think you would pick up this guitar and go.
And in tune. Beautiful. Let me tell you that often in this basement of Broken Dreams, we start grabbing guitars with tremolo arms and doing that.
Yeah, man.
It's not good. But that is impressive. And that's right out of the box.
Did I mention that is set up and ready to go from our facility in the Detroit-Toledo area? And where are we now?
We're in Louisville, Colorado, in the warm bosom of the Wildwood lair, engaging in fiendish, I'm going to say horseplay.
Yeah,
with some Reverend guitars. I'm with Ken Haas from Reverend Guitars. I'm Gregory Stephen Kuchenheimer Schmidt. And we've got these Pete Anderson Eastsider guitars.
New in satin mulberry mist.
Mulberry mist, I can't resist. Oh. I don't know what that meant.
What was that? Oh.
Strange sounds.